Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, YouTubers out there around the world and across the plateau and across the country. I'm going to read chapter 12 of Magic Bicycle. So I might talk a little bit afterwards, I might not. So they just got a note about to destroy the Spirit Flyer and all the other bikes would be given back. A ransom note, basically. The title of this chapter is Remember Joe. Who the heck is Joe, huh? What does it mean? John asked. Why would they want me to destroy the Spirit Flyer? I'm not sure, Uncle Bill said, shaking his head in frustration. I'm just not sure. The telephone rang. Aunt Betty picked it up. Hello, she said. She listened. Yes, there was a note. And that was the demand. What are we going to do? I'm not sure. Mrs. Hillsby. Yes, I know the other bikes are very valuable. And your son's bike was stolen too? I'm sorry to hear that. We'll let you know what we decide. Really, Mrs. Hillsby, I don't think that's being fair to Bill. Yes, but... Come on, turn the page. It's real simple. Turn the page. Oh, come on. There we go. Hey, Walty. Aunt Betty put the phone down. She looked uneasily at Uncle Bill. News travels fast, it seems, she said. That was Mrs. Hillsby. She heard about the note from Mrs. Smedlow. She thinks John should destroy the Spirit Flyer right now. She also made a rather nasty remark about Centerville's sheriff's office doing a bad job. She even offered to help destroy the Spirit Flyer herself. She says she knows how to use a welding torch. Can you imagine? Then she hung up. Uncle Bill started to say something, but the phone rang again. I'll get this one, he said. Hello? Yes, Mr. Burroughs. We are all upset. Yes, there was a note, and it did mention my nephew's bicycle. The sheriff's office is considering an appropriate response. I personally don't think we should bargain with thieves. I realize the stolen bicycles are worth a lot of money. No, I'm not sure what my nephew's bicycle is worth. It might be an antique. Yes, I understand. He hung up. Well, that was Mr. Burroughs, Uncle Bill said. He wants to take up a collection from the town and pay John to destroy the Spirit Flyer. He said Mr. Grimsby suggested the idea. Oh, what a good idea, huh? But they can't, John protested. I don't want their money. I want the Spirit Flyer. It's magic. It flies. It saved my life yesterday. It flew over a pickup truck. You can ask Roger or Barry Smedlow. He tried to make me run into a hole on Elm Street. We're not going to go through a flying bicycle discussion again, Uncle Bill said firmly. I have enough problems already. I want you all to go into the kitchen and make cookies or something. You are not to leave the house, John. I want you to put the Spirit Flyer in your bedroom and leave it there. Whoever's trying to get it might be dangerous. Well, Uncle Bill, John said, it really did. The phone rang. Uncle Bill answered. Hello? Yes, yes. There was a note. That's correct. That's what it said, more or less. Hold on for a moment, please. Uncle Bill covered the mouthpiece with his hand. Please go to the kitchen, everybody. Okay, let's go, Aunt Betty said. It's time to make cookies. Can't I stay? John asked, looking at his uncle. Uncle Bill shook his head. John left the room, dragging his feet. Who wants to make dumb old cookies at a time like this? Horace Grimsby was talking on the phone, too. He had a big smile on his face. He smoked a big cigar, carefully tapping the ashes into his coffee cup. It went as smooth as a snake's belly, Grimsby said, then chuckled. I left soon after I was assured the note had been received. I casually suggested setting up a fund. The idea was a success, of course. I planned to go by the sheriff's office a little later. First, I need to see the Smedlow boy. He might be a problem, but I'll take care of him. By this time tomorrow, I should be able to deliver the Spirit Flyer, at least what's left of it. Grimsby laughed out loud. With the other bikes gone, we'll be able to start the toy campaign. These poor idiots will never feel a thing. Grimsby laughed some more and listened some more. Finally, he hung up the glowing phone. He tapped more ashes into his coffee cup, then poured in a hot liquid from a black bottle. Smoke bubbled up out of the cup. Grimsby smiled and drank the whole mixture in one gulp. He burped, then started the truck. In 2 minutes, he was in front of the Smedlow's house. Barry was outside, watering a rosebush with a green hose. Grimsby walked quickly across the lawn. Well, young man, I hear you're in trouble, Grimsby said, grinning broadly. Barry tried to smile, but couldn't. He was afraid of the strange man in the black derby, especially when he remembered the way Grimsby looked the night before, holding the hammer. Grimsby took a sweet temptation out of his pocket, peeled the wrapper, and popped the candy into his mouth. He sucked on it slowly. Barry's mouth began to water. 7, 8. Okay, got it. You are in trouble too, Barry accused. You made me steal it. It was your idea. I made you what? Grimsby asked. Don't be ridiculous. Who would believe such a silly story like that? Sheriff Kramer, Barry said defiantly. And what would you tell him? That you paid me to take the bike. Have I paid you anything? Grimsby asked. No, Barry said, but you were going to if I stole the bike and gave it to you, but I couldn't because... Because why? Grimsby asked. He smiled, then took another candy out of his pocket and looked hungry. Barry looked hungrily at the candy. Because it took off down the street and almost killed me, Barry said. It wasn't even on the ground. The crazy bike flew. It flew. Then it dumped me in that big wet hole on Elm Street. I almost drowned. Really? Grimsby asked. Then what happened? I don't know, Barry said. It disappeared, but my dad found it in our garage this morning. And who is going to believe a story like that? Grimsby said, chuckling to himself. A flying bicycle, a disappearing bicycle, a bicycle that moves by itself? Really? But you saw it move last night, Barry protested. I didn't see anything last night except television, young man. Grimsby said, I was in my motel room all evening watching television. Here, have a candy. Barry took the sweet temptation, even though he absolutely hated Grimsby at that moment. He suddenly realized how strange his story would sound. Barry stuck the candy into his mouth. Somehow the sweet temptation, the sweet tasted even sweeter than he remembered. He felt better. Without witnesses, it was his word against Grimsby. Barry doubted if anyone would believe his story. Grimsby would deny everything. Barry almost didn't care. The candy tasted so good. Can I have another piece? Barry said. Certainly, Grimsby said. He smiled broadly, but first we need to make sure what story you're going to tell. I suggest you say you were playing a little game on the Kramer boy and that you intended to give the bicycle back the next day. No harm done. Isn't that how it really happened? Well, sort of, I guess, Barry said uneasily. He knew he didn't have a chance of convincing anyone of the truth. He wasn't sure what had happened anyway. He had been tired and it was late and dark. And the more he sucked on the strange green and red candy, the less he cared what had really happened. If I say all that, can I have more candy? Certainly, lad, certainly. What are friends for? Making sure no one was watching, Grimsby took a white envelope out of his pocket. He gave it to Barry. This is just a little token of our friendship, boy, Grimsby said, just to help you remember what really happened. With all the problems of today, the sheriff probably won't even worry about your little practical joke. Barry looked inside the envelope. Wow, Barry said, trying to count the money. How much is in there? Just enough so that we're good friends, Grimsby said, slapping Gary on the back. And of course, there's never not quite enough, so once you're sure the sheriff knows about your little practical joke and that you didn't mean any harm, there'll be a few more envelopes just like that one. What about the candy? Can I have more candy too? Barry asked greedily. Of course, lad. What are friends for? Grimsby pulled a whole sack out of his suit pocket. Don't eat too much at once. It can be dangerously delicious. Who cares? Barry said, stuffing 2 pieces in his mouth. I could eat this stuff all day. Oops. I don't know why that happened. Hear ye, story time. Yeah, Ray. Okay. I don't know why that fell off. Oh, I probably pulled on the cord. Yeah. Try to avoid that. In the future. I got it charging. Okay, where am I at? Grimsby and Barry are talking. It's kind of hard to do this. Come on, one page, just one page. Oh, Barry said I could eat this stuff all day. So you shall, lad, Grimsby said, chuckling. Someday you shall. Barry didn't even notice Grimsby speed away. He was too busy counting his money and the pieces of candy. Grinsby smiled inside his truck as he picked up the glowing red phone to make his report. No one had much of an appetite that night at supper in the Kramer house. Even though Aunt Betty had made fried chicken John's favorite dish, John didn't even eat a whole drumstick. After all the plates were cleared away, Uncle Bill stood up. Well, it's been a horrible day, he sighed. The thieves seem to have gotten away without a clue. And all points bulletin is out, but it doesn't look good. If we had more time. Does that mean John will have to destroy the spirit flyer like the ransom note said? Susan asked. Everyone looked at Uncle Bill. That's the most disturbing part about this whole business, Uncle Bill said. It doesn't make sense. If they didn't demand that you destroy the spirit flyer, maybe I would understand. What good is that old bicycle, that old spirit flyer? Maybe I could understand. If they didn't demand you destroy the spirit flyer, maybe I would understand. What good is that old bike if it's destroyed? Now, if they offered to trade the stolen bicycle for that spirit flyer, trade the stolen bicycles for the spirit flyer, then I would assume it's worth more than we know. Horace Grinsby offered $1,000. He would even be a suspect in this case if the thieves wanted to trade, but they don't. I don't like him, John said. He's always smiling and he acts nice, but I don't think he's nice. I think he's creepy. So far, Mr. Grinsby has been very helpful in a way, Uncle Bill said. In fact, he's offered to chip in $500 on the ransom fund. The what? Susan asked. The ransom fund, Uncle Bill said. Mr. Grinsby even sort of suggested it. Once word got around about the note, Mr. Grinsby offered $500 to pay John to destroy the spirit flyer. He thought that was only fair, he said. Almost everyone in the town contributed a little money. Last time I heard it was close to $900. You mean they're going to make me destroy the spirit flyer? John asked. He couldn't believe his ears. I don't want their old money. Tell them I won't do it. Tell them, Uncle Bill, I'll never destroy the spirit flyer, even if they gave me $1 million. Uncle Bill looked sadly at his wife. She looked down at the table. I certainly don't intend to bargain with bicycle thieves, Uncle Bill said. On the other hand, I'm responsible to the people of this county. They look to me to protect them and their property. Today they became as bad as a lynch mob. The value of those bicycles is over $25,000, not counting sentimental value. Those bicycles were Christmas presents and birthday gifts, nickels and dimes saved in piggy banks. Everyone wants their bicycle, and they think the Spirit Flyer is a cheap price to pay. To them, $900 for a beat-up old bicycle is very reasonable. I tried to tell them that even if John destroyed the Spirit Flyer, the thieves might not ever return the other bicycles. Why should they do what they say? They're thieves. But you can't reason with a mob. The office was a madhouse today, people shouting and screaming. Mr. Grinsby was taking donations for the ransom fund outside on the steps and giving everyone candy like we were having a party. I suppose he was just trying to help. I had to take the phone off the hook. So many people kept calling, Aunt Betty said. Everyone knew about the note, and some of our nicest friends were downright rude, but evil just brings out more evil in people. I don't want to destroy the Spirit Flyer, John said. He felt a lump in his throat. He knew he was ready to cry. Uncle Bill shook his head. The whole thing has got me confused, he said. There's no law that says John has to give up his bike. Yet we have to live with these people. The town is crying out for blood. I've never seen anything like it. And it's all over bicycles, especially that old beat-up Spirit Flyer. I just don't... Look, screeched Lois, the telephone is blinking. What? Uncle Bill asked. Everyone turned around. The red telephone near the refrigerator was glowing off and on like the blinking taillight of a car. The receiver was off the hook, so it couldn't ring. Yet the whole phone, even the curly wire, was throbbing on and off, blink, blink, as if it had a life of its own. Why, that's the craziest thing I've... Uncle Bill's voice trailed off. The whole family stood around the eerily growing phone. Blink, blink, blink. Is it talking? Lois asked. Of course not, Uncle Bill said. It's impossible with the receiver off the hook. Maybe there's an electrical overload on the line. I'm sure there's a reasonable, logical explanation. Maybe it's haunted, Catherine said. Mommy, I'm scared. There's nothing to be scared of, Uncle Bill said. He grabbed the receiver and held it up. The red throbbing glow continued in his hand. So there's nothing to be... At that instant, a strange creaking noise came out of the phone like the sound of an old door opening. Mommy, Catherine whined. Aunt Betty put her hand around Catherine's shoulder, but everyone kept staring at the glowing red phone. Then they heard the sound of someone sighing. Suddenly, a voice whispered, as if it came from a faraway ancient grave, "Destroy the Spirit Flyer. Remember Joe." The phone stopped glowing. Uncle Bill dropped the phone. as if it burned. Catherine screamed. Okay, ha ha ha. Got you hanging on the edge of the seat there. Okay, so anyway, we're forgetting Grimsby's not a nice guy. Mr. Grimsby, he's a very grim character, very ugly, creepy. What did I trying to say? Creepy, yeah, creepy. He's a creepy man. Okay, well, anyway, good night. I'll see if anybody said anything other than zapped and kaboom and Ray Sova. Hey, yeah, Ray, how you doing? You finally looked up. Yeah. Sorry. I don't. I'm not. When I'm reading, I'm not reading the comments, which because there aren't several times I haven't been anybody on at all, so I just read it anyway, and it's there for people to listen to if they want. So that's it. Okay. Yeah, I looked up just to look down again. Okay. Good night, guys. Be nice. I need to talk to. I'm thinking about doing a video, so on Arkhaven. I'll just throw it out there. If anybody has any information about Arkhaven down in Arkansas, let me know, or if you have any interest in it. So I have some unsettling news from a guy that, might be sour grapes. I don't know. I've told him I need facts and figures, some hardcore information. I'm not going to risk my life and my 40 years of my life, 40 years of my life and 20 years of my, ministry and 5 years, 6 years of YouTube ministry, just because somebody said something bad about somebody. So need some facts and figures and names, dates, etc., etc. Okay, yeah, if you want to look at it, if you want to look up the stuff that's out there, it's on my video that's titled "This Map Will Save Your Life." There's a guy named John or Jim something Burns. Maybe it's John Burns. I don't know. Anyway, Robert Burns. Maybe I don't know what his name is. Anyway, read the comments on that under that video, and you'll find out. I pinned it, so it's the top first comment you'll see. And I have about 4 or 5 replies, and he's got about 3 to 4 replies back to me on different things. So if you're interested, you can read it there, and we'll go from there. I might do a video on it. I may try to get him on an interview or something. I don't like to deal with dirt and crap and stuff, but if it's a legitimately crooked operation going on, people need to be aware of it. I've had quite a few people ask me what I knew about it, and I was like, I don't know anything for sure. I'd like somebody to go down there and be a mole, spy, whatever, go out and spy out the land, as it were, go work there. But I'd have to be a single guy. Well, this guy went down with his wife, apparently, and, been running around and running around and running around, so I don't know. It don't sound good. I didn't think it would be. My thing at the start was I hope that it works out. It would be wonderful. It does work out, but I have my doubts that it can work out. So that's where I'm at on it. Okay, well, God bless everybody. Thank you. Good night.